So, there's a lot of misconceptions out there when it comes to staying alive and being noticed on your motorcycle. Quote unquote, loud pipes save lives makes sense in theory and probably has some truth to it in a tight urban environment, but on the highway has long since been disproven. But there is another aspect of loudness that research has shown actually can make a difference in terms of being seen on the road, and this is of course being visually loud. I myself intentionally paint my bike's colors that will contrast with the road, and my riding gear and helmets follow the same pattern. But however, there is another aspect that has undoubtedly kept me alive over the last 10 years of heavy miles, and that of course is LED lighting. In this video, we're going to discuss some easy ways to get started with LED lighting and why it's probably the first upgrade you should consider making to any new bike. So the question is, why should you invest in LED lighting? The number one reason for upgrading to LED lighting is of course to be seen. Especially in an unforgiving riding environment such as New York City, you truly need every edge to survive the streets out here. Number two, and probably just as important as number one, you yourself need to be able to see. Whether it be riding in the pothole-infested streets of Brooklyn or some deer-infested highway in the middle of nowhere, the most essential component of night riding beyond being seen yourself is of course being able to see in front of you to anticipate these potential hazards. And number three, compared to the other common upgrades people make to their bikes upon buying a new motorcycle, investing in LED lighting is relatively cheaper in terms of the cost compared to other big upgrades. So now onto my bikes. So, when it comes down to LED lighting, one of my first experiences to upgrading to this is actually going back to 2016 on this nearly stock Dyna Lowrider S. Truly glorious days back then. So yeah, this bike was only just announced back then and was pretty much fresh off the line, and I remember at that point wanting to keep it as stock as possible while adding the traditional Dyna Bro upgrades. Obviously a very different attitude than what I have in 2025. With this in mind, I had actually found a pretty fantastic solution from Custom Dynamics, which was a fully plug-and-play option that would go within the existing stock housing. As always, beyond just being bright as hell and looking way better than stock with these smoked out lenses, these were also functional, as they doubled as turn signals as well. Again, back in 2016, the same mindset existed for the rear fender. I had not yet understood the facts of life, which is that all Dynas should have full fenders. But again, this allowed me to match the stock aesthetic with an easily plug-and-play solution. Coming in way brighter than stock, this was way safer than what I was running previously. The headlight I'm showing you here is the Custom Dynamics Shark Demon. With this headlight, you're going to get that heavy industrial and honeycomb aesthetic while adhering to the legal standards, so you're not going to be blinding your friends on night rides. My gripes with this headlight is it's definitely on the heavier side and protrudes out of my Lowrider ST, but it definitely does check off some important boxes. Which is, number one, it's easily plug and play, and of course, it's bright as hell whether it's daytime or nighttime. So in terms of front-facing lighting on the Lowrider ST specifically, if you want even more details and assessment on the headlight that I just mentioned, you gotta go check out none other than Stacy from Ride to Food. If you don't already follow her, she's been crushing the heavy miles within the sport touring world for over 10 years and is definitely responsible for me slowly dialing in my moto camping loadout throughout the years. But anyway, through both her blog and her video, she does a pretty comprehensive test where you could clearly see the difference between the upgraded headlight and stock. She also shines some light, no pun intended, on the LED vent strips that Custom Dynamics also offers. So yeah, go check out her channel if you want another opinion on this stuff. She also holds it down for all the cats out there, so nothing but respect. So in terms of other models in regards to the Shark Demon, it's not only made for the Lowrider ST. Take my road dog Adam, who actually runs this on his Street Glide. His assessment and rating of this headlight so far has been pretty good.
So I picked this up. I've been wanting a different headlight, and they announced a Shark Demon, and I like the look of it. It's a little more aggressive profile, and it is a very simple install. You just attach it to the mounting bracket, and then it bolts in just like this. Bolts in just like the stock one, and yeah, it was super simple. I like it. I like the look of it. The only thing that I wish that they would do is I wish that they would, because this is the stock trim ring, and I wish that they would maybe come up with a trim ring that really highlights this better, where, you know, is maybe tapered in here to fill in this gap. It's just I don't know, it leaves something to be desired. But other than that, I really appreciate it. It's very easy to adjust, just like the stock. It's very bright, and yeah, they have two different options. They have the one that's all white, and then they have one that's the white and amber. And I went with the all white because I don't know, just the look I was going for on my bike. I would recommend it. It's price point is there. It's comparable to other. It's cheaper than the Baja Designs LP4. Obviously, the Baja light is I think it's a lot brighter. But I mean, what are you trying to do here? You know, you're not in was that movie Pitch Black with Vin Diesel? You don't need all the light in the world. You just need, you know, something that's brighter than stock and light up the road on those late night rides. So I like it. I recommend it.
The one thing I like more about this headlight on a Street Glide is it's gonna sit more flush within the Batwing fairing and does not protrude out of the bike like it does on the Lowrider ST. So for all my Street Glide people out there, this is definitely a formidable option out there for you to consider. While we're on the topic of headlights, one of the most recent examples of the Baja LP4 that I've seen was on Trev's Dyna from California. Aesthetically speaking, this definitely has the industrial look and feel to the Shark Demon, but it is definitely still quite different. For one, it's amber, and I think this is one of the few companies I've seen out there that offer that option. Again, aesthetically speaking, it's not necessarily what's better, it's just kind of what you're looking for your build and whatever overall aesthetic you're going for your bike. The upside of this option is it's incredibly bright and visible. It's definitely going to get your attention, which is definitely an important aspect of upgrading to LED lighting. The downside of this option is the running headlight is almost too bright, where it's going to blind your road dogs at night. So that, combined with the fact that it's coming in at a much higher cost, is definitely some factors to consider with this headlight. As always, let's not ignore the bagger side of things, and let's turn it over to my friend Todd and his anniversary road glide also running this headlight.
Hey everybody, my name's Todd. I go by the Dad Glide on Instagram. This is my 2003 road glide. I'm running a Baja LP4 set up by Prior Performance. I would say some of the good things about it are that it was super easy to install, just a couple of bolts, just hook it right up, no problems at all. Also a great thing about it is that it is super bright at night and during the day, so I can definitely see and be seen. I think also one of the downsides is also that super brightness at night. While I don't necessarily care too much about how the other drivers perceive me, it is kind of annoying, or I could see how it would be kind of annoying to other drivers to have those lights coming up behind them. But at the end of the day, I want to be seen, so that's a bonus for sure. Thanks everybody, take care.
So now, back to my bike. I then further supplement my forward-facing lighting with these little Baja S1s. I like these because they mount straight to my crash bar and pack quite a punch without affecting the general overall aesthetic of my bike. So now onto the rear fender of the bike, which is probably the most important if you're trying to not get rear-ended. And this, of course, is a combination of my custom Dynamics LED license plate frame and my Moons MC taillight. Most companies make a module so that you could create a flicker effect to further get people's attention behind you when you're braking. So in conclusion, that's really it. For those of us who are truly down to ride for life, you need to be able to survive the streets. That means being able to see and be seen. As always, a massive shout out to J&P Cycles for sponsoring this video, and if you're curious about any of my parts and gear, go check out my landing page over on their site. Be seen out there, outride your demons, and on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.